Hey folks, one of the Redneck Country podcast. You're on with Real Redneck Todd Millard, and of course we got the almost guy, Real Redneck Bill, Tom Bill. Are you there?
I am here, and it's a beautiful night for a podcast.
It is a beautiful night for a podcast. It is finally nice out there.
I think we've crested the winter season here, and we're on the right path.
We have crested the winter season. I like that.
You do you? I'm still out here in my winter clothes, but that's okay. I like to be warm and comfortable.
You like to sweat? And how cold is it up there?
I live in the North Country. It's plus 11, so I mean, it's still.
It's a weight loss program at this point.
That's what I'm working on. I had my doctor tell me today that I have too much fat in my diet and I need to cut back on my fats. So my cholesterol was high. I'm at that age now. Speaking of that,
you and Dad text a lot more than I know, don't you? Hey, did you take your water pill today? No, I haven't taken my water pill today yet, but I got my tea going. Oh, that's good. What are you going to knit today? Well, now I'm going to crochet a little bit. Oh, did you work on the Volkswagen?
I now have a pill caddy, even.
Oh, I got no words.
I have two of them.
Like I said.
Those are life goals right there. You gonna introduce your dad or what?
Oh, yeah. Sitting beside me, as always, is the patriarch of Redneck Country, my father, Real Redneck Todd Millard. Dad, is your mic hot?
It's hot, and it was a beautiful night for a walk over, and I turned 75 this month.
Do you?
Yeah, so don't complain about your age, Bill.
Well, okay. I got nothing to complain about then. We're all good. Life is good. I got my tea here, a good conversation, and it's going to be a good night for a podcast.
Good conversation. Yep.
Mm-hmm. and I don't chintz out on carrying equipment in the woods either. I carry a 30-pound chair.
He ain't fooling. He ain't fooling at all. But before we get there, because I got some text messages from you.
From me?
Yeah. What did you do this week, Bill?
This week was an absolute wonder of a week in many ways. It was a well-rounded week, I could say, that's for sure. Got the Volkswagen engine all tuned up, dialed up, ready to go, which you do not know about because I didn't include you on those text messages. But I included your dad, so we got that figured out.
The pace car for the next 24K run in your area.
Yeah, we run fast enough here. So that's done, ready to go. And I had the epiphany yesterday that everything on that car now that I can do is pretty much done to a point where I now need to start to implore my wife's time and get her involved in doing the headliner and the interior. And we're that close to being ready to put it on the road, which I'm excited about. So.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
I want to see the maiden drive on video.
Well, I got to bleed the brakes first. It could be a short trip if I don't do that.
You'd be like, is this in slow-mo or is this regular speed? I can't tell.
Yeah. Well, when I run over you, it'll be just fast enough. So, but yeah, that was that. And then Saturday morning, I had the maiden trip out to the turkey hunt woods, and that was an absolute blast. I had a great time out there, that's for sure. So,
Was there any pictures of the sunrise?
That came to my mind as I was sitting there in my blind thinking about all the possible things I could talk about on this podcast, and the picture of the beautiful sunrise was just not there. So, but no, I got up 4 o'clock in the morning, and I got a little bit of a drive to go to get where I'm going, and I knew when I got there that there would be water on the path that I was walking through. Well, I didn't realize there was going to be that much water. I could have had chest waders and I would have been okay. But the way it was, I hunt county bush, and it's a crapshoot as to what's going to be there, and I made things happen last year, so I decided to go right back to the same spot that I went. This
hashtag make it happen.
Yeah, and you and I talked. We were trying to decide back and forth whether I bring decoys or not, and I decided decoys it was, and put it all out, see what I could come up with. But to get there, man, oh man, I was 1 inch away from having the water come over my big boots that come up to my knees, and there was no way I could go back, forward, left, right. I was stuck. So the ATV trail was overflowed with water, and for probably, I don't know, 200 yards, I was playing, is it going to sink me or am I going to make it? And I don't like playing that game at 5:30 in the morning.
When that happens for me, I just turn it on Roadrunner style.
No, I thought about it, but I thought, and then I got thinking, well, maybe I can make a leap and get across this, but I can't tell how deep it is on the other side. So
that's it. You just got to commit, man. Roadrunner, go, leap, jump, move. The faster you move the feet and the harder you stomp, you push that water away for that quick split second, and you just got to keep on trucking. Hard thrust down, and then just keep picking up speed.
Keep moving. Well,
I know you don't know what speed really is because you are a Volkswagen owner, but as fast as you can. Stomp and go. Stomp and go.
Well, I knew for sure if I got in there would be nobody following me in the morning. That's for sure. But I got there and I was hanging on to a branch and testing the water with 1 foot and hoping the branch would hang, hang on. And had I felt terrible. If anybody had saw it, they would have had a good laugh. But I had my decoys on my back, and the decoys got caught in the tree, that I was trying to walk around. So now I'm hung up in the tree in, just about the right size of water to get over my boots. I got the gun in the gun sock in one hand, thinking if I drop this, it's gone, because I'll be in a muddy puddle here trying to figure out where the gun is, and I hadn't even got to my spot yet. So this was the morning. So then I finally navigated through the pool and made it to my spot, and I get set up, and I'm set up for, I don't know, 10 minutes, and all of a sudden the bush lights up, and it doesn't light up with what you think. I had coyotes. Yeah, the coyotes, probably 300 yards or so, maybe a little bit further than that, start howling, and there's probably 2 or 3 of them in the bush.
Still dark, right?
Still dark, yeah, still dark. It was before legal shooting time. I'm set up. I put a ground blind up, with my turkey chair with the blind in front. I had my decoys out, probably 25 yards in front of me, and I had a cup of coffee and a hard-boiled egg, and I thought, this is going to be a good morning, and all of a sudden the coyotes howl, and believe it or not, 3 shot gobbles.
Right after the coyotes.
Right after the coyotes howl.
Stupid turkeys are teasing them. They're teasing them.
You're a fool. I'm going to see feathers, and it's not going to be from the end of my gun.
That's the kind of turkeys I want to hunt. They're not afraid of coyotes. You got a shotgun, bring it up.
And I thought, and that was between, I don't know, maybe about quarter to 6.
That's what it is. The almost guy was not the almost guy last year. You made a because you're shooting either fearless or just downright stupid turkeys.
Yeah, it's probably exactly what it is. They're not afraid of the almost guy. Yeah,
they're like, that guy's calling like a wounded owl, but we're not even afraid of coyotes. So we're going to walk into there and see what's going on.
pick a fight, but the birds, they responded a couple times right around 6 o'clock. The legal shooting time for me, I think sun up was 6:11 or something like that, maybe 6:15. So I was in there ready to go, and I had a couple gobbles en roost, 2 different toms right out in front of me. I would say about 300 yards, give or take. It's tough to tell.
That's
with
close, close enough.
It's close enough. It got my blood pumping, that's for sure. And I'm thinking, and when they were on roost, I had one response to the slate call. So they're close enough if you can get them to respond with the slate call.
Yep.
And sure enough, they hit the ground and shut right up. And I didn't hear another gobble right up until about 6.
Did you quit calling when they hit the ground and shut up?
That's a good question. I did for a little bit. I till about 6:30 or so, and then I got on the mouth call and called a little bit louder because they were nowhere to be found. They didn't make a single sound from about 6 o'clock I don't know, till about 6:30. And then at 6:30, they were for sure on the ground. And I hit them with a mouth call, and it was instant response. That they cut my call off, and I'm thinking game on.
It is. And at that, when they cut you off, they're there.
They cut me off when I called, and I got excited. You know, I'm thinking they're coming. And I'm
is that when I got the text messages?
Yeah, that's when you got the text messages, and my time line might be a little bit off here, but it was not very long after that when I texted game on to you that he was. In my mind, he was coming because that call, you know, when he cut my mouth call off, he started coming. And there was a second one behind him. I know for sure. And again, I don't see any one of these. I'm just picturing where they are in the bush, and there's not a whole lot between him and I besides a little bit of hardwoods. And I'm sitting in pines, so not on the field edge. I'm in the bush. And now my heart's pumping, and I'm waiting for it. And then all of a sudden, it just turned right off. And the calls got very, the distance between the gap between the calls when they were calling and I was calling. And I think I may have overcalled.
No, shut your mouth. See, that's where I was going to go. I was going to go there.
Yeah, no, and I think it did. And I got thinking honestly about some of the things that you've done that has worked in your area. But I just think I have smarter birds where I am.
Yeah, we just said this, that you got, well, maybe they're smart, fearless.
The smart, fearless birds. But I was picturing some of the videos you had and how you overcalled, in my opinion, but you still got birds to call. And I thought, forget it. Just make a bunch of noise. And
that's what I'm saying. And I'm going to tell you my story from this weekend. That is just that.
Yeah. So I got, my birds had commitment issues. That's for sure. And they were around, but story of my life, the almost guy.
Once bitten, twice shy. You got some scorn birds there.
I had an experience, and I actually saw 2 deer on my way to the to my turkey hunting spot, and heard coyotes and heard turkeys. So all in all, better day than sitting in bed. And then, so rushed home. Better than sleep.
So decoys, how many did you put out? What'd you take?
I took 3 decoys, 2 hens, one feeder hen, one. I'm not going to say standing hen. She's like a walking style hen, and Jake. So, all right, 2 hens and a Jake.
All right.
I'm not sure. The decoys certainly were not the deciding factor. If they had to come close.
I'm majority anti-decoy guy.
I know you are.
But I will say that this Saturday for us was different.
It was it?
It was. So I will share my side of our story because I sat with Dad, and then I will take it up to a certain point, and then I will pass it over to Dad because it's his story to tell.
Very good.
So if you're ready, Bill, I don't want to cut you off, but it's
the only other thing I did on Saturday, I went to the trap club and shot with Frank and his dad, and I sent you that text message.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I got tied up and I didn't get to respond last night. But I seen that.
I have big shoulders and I'm not offended much.
Oh yeah, no. Well, being my friend, you can't. You got to have thick skin. No, but I do apologize because I get upset when nobody responds to my text messages. But that's the narcissist in me. If I message you, you respond. It's do as I say, not as I do. That's right. Like, what? I know I'm worth your time. What's going on here? Did you lose your phone? Did you drop it in that water on your way in? Like you find that thing and you pick it up and you say, hey, I'm sorry. I might have been away from my phone for 30 seconds. I dropped it in the drink, but it's okay. And all is well, Todd. Carry on.
That's it. Carry on. But I shot 3 rounds. First round was a 20. Second round was a sad 22 because I dropped my last target. It would have been a 23, but I dropped my last target. So this one is in last. And then I shot handicap, which is the first time I shot handicap since the provincials, and I shot an 18. So Not terrible.
Not bad.
I had a good day at the club, but that's all I did. Now you're caught up in my life, and I'm interested to see what happened down in St. Thomas land.
Well, and so I'm a storyteller. So because I like to talk. So I'm going to go into detail, which is part of the podcast and the reason we do it. But I'm going to go into some crazy detail, hopefully, and give you what I did that I don't normally do. Because you
were organized, you got up on time, you had found all your stuff.
Yeah.
I figured.
Oh, no.
I tell you what, you wait, Bill. Oh, yeah, you wait.
I figure, Bill, that he said he's going to tell his story up to a certain point and then let me tell it. Well, we only got an hour, so I figure by the time he gets done in his detail and his pickiness here, I'll be telling my next one.
You should be so lucky. You should be you pray that that's the case. So yeah, stay tuned, folks. Here it comes. So we had Scotty and Michael coming with us, and so we're going out to the same woods that we've been hunting the last year or so. Pretty heavy. That's where I shot my bird. It's where I snuck Dad and Bill into the bedroom. I mean, this is where the last day last year I snuck into the bedroom and with them roosted all above me. I mean, 5 yards in a branch above me, and I had that hen touchdown, and I threw my gun up because I thought that was the big Tom that was gobbling above me because I couldn't look up. He was looking straight down on me, gobbling like insane. So I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. And when I heard and I watch this thing soar away from me and go to touchdown at 40 yards, I throw my gun up because as soon as I see a beard, I'm pulling the trigger because when I was looking up, first light, and it couldn't really see that I was sitting there below it. It didn't know I was there. It was a big freaking bird. And so this thing, I'm not even looking. And as soon as I knew, feet are on the ground, look up, put my gun up, it was a hen. And it seen me move and it took off. And I should have shot it flying away over my head. And this thing was like a condor. I mean, it was insanity. It was like massive. And I just watched it fly away. So I know he's in there. So yes. Michael, Scott's nephew, has not shot a turkey yet. And so last year we got him his first deer. So it's like, okay, Scotty says, well, I'm going to sit on the edge of the field. I'm like, no, you need to be in the bedroom. I can sneak you in. And Scott said, but I've never been in there. I don't know where to sit. I will sneak you in and then I'll go down and I'll go sit with Dad. Because I went to bed the night before and hardly could sleep because I'm going in the bedroom where that giant Tom is. And I know that's where they are. I mean, every single turkey in the area for the whole concession goes to this 30-yard, 40-yard wide hardwood spot on a ridge. And it's a ridge on three sides. So they're just surrounded like a horseshoe. And you just sneak in and sit down and then wait. So Scotty said, well, I sit on the edge. I don't know where to. I said, well, I'll walk you. So when we got there, and when we were driving there, Scott drove with his nephew and me and Dad drove together because they were going to have to leave because Michael had to work. So they might have had to leave early. So we all drove in separate vehicles and we got there. And so when we got out, Scott says, you know what? Michael was saying he wants to go in the bedroom. All right, I will walk you in, but we got to be real quiet. Well, by the time we got all our crap around and everything ready to rock, it was starting to get light. It was probably a little too late to walk in because in there, you got to go in early before they're awake. And the other kicker is the farm right beside it's got a freaking rooster that even in the dark is and waking up everything in the vicinity. And like you're going, holy crap, like it's 5 o'clock. It's not, like you said, it's not legal shooting till like 20 after 6. And this freaking rooster's already going off, waking everything up. Like, shut up. So it was snuck in. We get up there. I said to Dad, you go down. We're going to where him and Bill sit typically on the edge of the field, so that's why I say for me, I'm in the woods. I'm an in the woods hunter because Toms only come in the field if there's a hen to pull them into the field. Mark my words, when it's mating season. Yeah. Otherwise, they're like big bucks, right? Big, smart Toms. Jakes and younger Toms, okay, they're going to come running out in the field. Typically, the big boys are going to stay on the edge of that woods looking for danger and stay in the woods. And they will come out if there's a hen. But for the most part, they're going to live in that woods and walk the edges of the woods looking for the hens. So I like to be up my odds, right? Yeah, you can pull a Tom out in the field, but if you're in the woods 20 yards and you can see the field, well, you're going to nail them before before they even get to the field, and then they're comfier in there. They're not.
That's right.
And then I roll with no decoys because I've had them hang up so many times. When they see the hen at 100 and something yards and they're way back, they just stand there gobbling their head off because there's so many hens to Tom, is my theory, that the ratio, hens to Toms, that they'll sit there gobbling saying, you come to me, hen. I'm right here.
Yeah.
I'm not coming any
no
closer.
reason to move.
And so it drives
Get
me
options.
insane. Where if I have no decoy and I call a little bit and they'll stand there gobbling, then you call, they can't see the hen. Then they're like, well, why isn't it coming to me? All right. And then they start coming closer, trying to find that hen. And I have them walk right up on me. That's my theory. So I'm totally against that now because I'm hunting A with Dad, B on the edge of the field. And yes, we took decoys. But first off, get Scotty and Michael. So I sneak them in. Well, it's getting light now. By the time we get in there and we got to go through some thicket real quick, real quiet, not breaking branches. And that's a difficult thing, being quick, quiet. Two things that typically don't go hand in hand. So broke a couple branches getting in, but I said, okay, there's the spot. There's a bunch of trees in a circle. You got to sit down right there. And as they walked in and I went to turn to go, one flies away. And Scott says, there it goes. And I heard him. And I mean, I was 40, 50 yards away from Scott at that point, and I heard Scott say that. Well, when he said that, two more on the other side of him, because he's not hunted there. I know there's going to be 20 turkeys in here. One goes. Who cares?
Yeah, let it go.
Right? So he says, oh, there it goes. As he says that to Michael. Well, then you hear three more go. And at that, a Tom, it sounds off. And I'm like, I got to get the flip out of here.
Yeah.
So I book it out of there and head down to Dad, and that's where it left.
Can I interrupt you just for 1 minute?
Well, you just did.
The reason that I am down below, I already made up my mind. I am not going to try and sneak in there where he likes to go. I am going to go down the bottom, below the ridge, on the side of the creek, in the brush, and look at this little strip of field that goes right over to the side hill that goes up to the ridge, and I want to sit there. And so that's where I am. I go in, I leave those guys, and I head right down there while Todd's doing all this. So that's why I'm out of the picture right now.
Well, he's heading down there because we're a lot quicker. So anyway, and he's carrying a 30-pound freaking director's chair. I'll get into that in a minute. So anyway, I get out of there and I leave him. I come around. I got to come around a long, big finger. So the field that I dropped Scotty and Michael off is about.
Did you have any idea what direction there was those birds were going when they went out of the tree?
Oh, absolutely. I could see them. I could see the silhouettes. I could watch them. I watched them go. So completely away from us, right? The exact
in the opposite direction,
the exact
out of your hunt.
Opposite direction, gone. So I get out of there and I got to go. So the field that this little bit of woods, there's the bedroom is off of the ridge. That ridge is probably 50 yards up from the field Dad's in, down below, right? So Dad's down below this woods in the same field, separated by a long finger in that 50-yard drop off. So I got to walk around that long finger and down to the bottom. And then I go over, and me and Dad are up under a tree, and there's a bunch of brush in front of us, like thorns, thickets, vines up into the tree above us. So it's good cover. And when you're hunting with Dad, that's good. He can't sit low. He's got a director's chair, right? One of those big, I think you got the same one. It's got a base. It's got 4 adjustable legs for length so that you're not teetering. You can swivel 360 and it looks like a director's chair. So
they're perfect.
Sure. I like the low laying turkey chairs that are like little beach hammocks, but
yeah, I use that. If I'm deer hunting, I'll use the director's chair in my Taj Mahal, but to pack that in and out on a daily basis, not a chance. I'm sorry, not a chance. Well, that low turkey chair, that's
right.
My go-to.
Because these things are 30 pounds plus decoys plus gun. Like, it's something. Anyway, so Dad's carrying that. He gets down. Well, I come around and he's just trying to he's making a racket. But anyway, those turkeys went away. So I get our decoys. we have the Avian X, and I look at the back of Dad's truck when he comes, and I said, holy crap. I said, did you want to go get the goose trailer and bring it?
Here's
and
where
Scott's laughing.
Here's where I got to interject again, because I was waiting to tell this part. because Todd works and I can't get a hold of him. He doesn't answer the phone. I have no idea. In fact, he didn't download his turkey. He didn't download his turkey tag until something like midnight that night. So everything's stored in my shed up above in the rafters, and I got to get the ladder down and I got to get everything down. So I got everything down on the floor of the shed, and I have no idea what he wants to take. I got no idea where we're going yet. I got no idea how the setup's going to be. So we got 11 plus different style turkey decoys. So I load them. My day started 40 minutes in the morning earlier than everybody else because I had to go out and load the truck with these decoys, and then the stakes and the blinds and the things that go around.
You loaded 11 turkey decoys in the truck?
Hey, we got something like 7 avian X, and then he's got these robotic hens that go up and down. We got 2 of them. We got 2 spot and stocks with the turkey tails.
3 spot and stocks.
3 spot and stocks.
And a dirty bee that flips and flops with the line.
Like, oh my gosh. And we got so many.
And not only that, but I got 2 of those swivel chairs now for deer hunting. And Todd says, yeah, I might take the other one. So I had to load both 30-pound chairs.
Here's the problem. If I'm sitting with that, and I'm sitting in my low turkey chair, but we put the blind and that around, I can't see. So because he's sitting so high, I got to put the blind up so you can't see him moving. And I swear to you, I'm bringing him a fidget spinner next time we go. So I gotta sit in one too. So luckily he's got 2 of these giant director's chairs. So I got to carry 30 pounds in there with decoys and my gun.
So anyway, I get the truck all loaded and finally get it loaded. And now that's why when I drive over, he says, what the hey did you bring? I didn't know what you wanted. There's
I
no
go to throw
communication.
my gun in the back of the truck. There's no friggin' room. So anyway, I said, okay, all we took was an avian X Jake that just stands up and an avian X hen that's standing up, kind of looking sideways, looking back almost. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's it. Like,
and
we got
the spot and stock just in case.
And a spot and stock. I always take the spot and stock with the real turkey tail in. So in case I see one in the field walking away and I can kind of try to put it down, right? Chase it and
they
do
don't
whatever.
Much anyways.
No, they're just hollow. So anyway, I take that, and we got some ones that are laying down and stuff. And we've talked before about putting all of them out. Like, we've had 15 to 20 decoys before, 2 full goose bags full that we've carted in with the turkey chaser golf cart and loaded, and it worked, but it's a lot of work. So we just took in the Jake and the hen because we're sitting on the edge of the field, and I've been watching Facebook all week. We're early this year for turkey hunting with the way that the weather's been and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been up and down.
Yeah, those toms are still pretty aggressive, and I'm watching people decoy them in on Facebook. So,
I'll tell you right now. I mean, on the way home from work tonight in a horse field, there was 3 toms, full strut, with 6 hens.
I saw one tonight too on my way home. Yep.
It's weird that they're still like that at this stage of the game.
Yeah, well, and they're pretty jacked up, right? So, they really are. So I thought, okay, then I'm going to put out the decoys because normally I don't, like I said, but I'm on the edge of a field, so I got to pull them in because I don't want to watch them 100 yards away and calling, and they look and there's nothing there because it's a field, not woods, and they don't care. So if I'm hunting a field, I'll typically use decoys, but I never do. I always hunt in the woods. So I'm with that. I'm on the edge of the field. All right, let's put them out. So we put them out. As we're sitting there, it's now light because I get Dad packed up and like everything ready to go, get the blinds put out, get the decoys put out. It was already getting light with Scotty. So now we're sitting there and the turkeys start coming awake and dropping out of the trees. Well, the first 3 or 4 come from where Scott and Michael are. Like, all of them came from where Scott and Michael are. There was probably 15 birds, 20 birds in those trees. And we watch them fly over us, way up, just gone. Hen after hen after hen, and then we watch it fly away. Well, I heard some, and I never seen them, and they weren't flapping that long. I could hear them, but never seen them. So I figured, okay, they dropped straight down, and I'm expecting a boom from Scott and Michael, or at least expecting to see one pop out. So I'm waiting. I'm calling like a madman, Bill. Don't even care. Because last weekend in opening day at trout, I'm on the edge of the river and I went live. We talked about this and I called a turkey in with my mouth. I never shut up that whole time. I was nonstop. Well, I was fishing.
I have a hard time believing that.
With my mouth, no call, brought three into me.
That you never kept
I never
quiet the
shut
whole
up.
time.
Yeah. And I was by myself. So I don't care. I'm calling like crazy because if I'm my theory, if I'm a jacked up hen, I'm not over calling. I want you. Let's go, Tom. Bring it in. I want to get you revved up before I can even see you. I want you so jacked up, and that's what I did to those toms while I was trout fishing. 3 of them, and their heads were so red. They were so fired up, spitting, drumming, gobbling from me just nonstop with my mouth and no call, just and I called them in from a ways away, walked right in. So I don't even care. I am not stopping. And I know Scott and Michael are going to be reserved with their calls. So even if they don't like my overcalling, they're going to go to them. So It's a win-win in my mind.
What was it? When you said you call them slate, box?
I was on the slate.
Slate call?
Yeah. I wanted a couple.
Slate this year?
It's what is the brand? Made here in Ontario. Turkey Stalker? Is that what TS? Yeah.
Yeah,
and
TS.
I won it. So when I got in the record book there for the 16th largest Tom shot, I won. I entered and I won this turkey draw, not a draw, but I won it for the biggest bird being registered that year. And it was the slate call. I got a hat. Turkey Stalker's the brand. And I got some mouth calls, but that slate call is really nice. I really like it. Yeah. So I was using it just nonstop. Never ever had a gobble. And I figured it's because they could see Scott and Michael. They may even have seen me and Dad setting up down below them. I mean, even though we're like 200 yards away from Scott and Michael, down on the bottom of the ridge and way back away from the woods and the edge of the field, I figured they might even have seen us down there. And so I just didn't stop. It just nonstop called, never had a gobble, watched them fly, had some drop, never seen them. So as we're sitting there, morning goes on, we had Scotty messages me and he says, there's a hen roosted right above you guys, 100 yards in front of us. So I lean over and sure enough, one lonely, big, tall hardwood tree, and there's this big hen sitting in it. And so I looked, well, just as he says that, it comes out of the tree and it goes, and right behind us is a creek with a 20, 15 yard hill from that creek that goes up into a field above us. So it went and landed in that field. I said to Dad, I'm just going to go across the creek right below us here and look and see. It might have went to a tom that's sitting there. I'm just going to pop my head up and smoke it. So I dropped down and looked up, and it was just the hen. It seen me. It ran back towards Scott and Michael. I thought, well, there's another win-win. I pushed it back the other way.
Sure, yeah.
Right? So so regardless, we sat there, and so from time to time I would drop down and go look up and come back and sit back down and looking. Well, as the morning went on, there is no goblin, there's nothing. And so Scott and Michael had goblin that where they were, because they were up on this ridge, and the other side away from us, like I said, it's a 3-sided ridge and a horseshoe that they're on. So on the other side of them, they had goblin, which I knew, and they had activity all morning. They said they had a gobbler come in from at 100 yards, but down below wouldn't come up. They had one on the left that they didn't see when Michael went to call. It all of a sudden took off like a shot. It was closer than they thought. And so they could hear gobbles all morning and come in and go away and come in and go away. But that's the problem with the bedroom. That's where they roost. When they come down, they're leaving it. And they typically don't come to it. So with that, I'm sitting there, and we got the hen, we got the Jake, and I'm just nonstop. And then I stop calling. I start calling again and nonstop. Well, then Dad says to me, right there's a bird on the edge. And right below that tree, there's the ridge and there's the woods. Right on the edge of the woods where the creek rounds from us, there's a tom standing, staring right at us. So Dad says, call. And it's probably 100 yards away. So I start calling. Well, as I start calling, it turns and starts to walk away and go down the ridge, which it would have to do because there's the creek there. So Dad says, gobble. So I throw down the gobble call. I got a shaker. So it disappears. And I'm thinking, well, it could be coming here. It went towards Scott and Michael, but it's got to go that way to get around the creek to come to us, or it's going to go up to Scott and Michael. So I'm sitting there. Well, as that's happening, Scott messages me and says, we just had 2 hens bust us, and a tom was on the other side we didn't see, and it ran. Well, it's not the same tom that was on that side hill, because he messaged me right then as that one was disappearing. So there was to Thom. So I'm thinking, crap, those hens would have went right down to where he was and might have pulled him.
They would have paired up.
So now I'm calling like crazy because, again, I don't care. So
and it's so hard to compete with live
right?
And right the way I'm staring, waiting for that head to pop out of the woods and into that tall grass, I see movement. Excuse me. I see movement, and I realize it's 2 deer. Tell them about the 2 deer right
Well, I'm getting there. So yeah, as this is going on, Dad then taps me. Look at this. Look at it. Because I'm calling and I'm looking behind us because we got a huge field to my left, right? And behind us that it just goes, it's divided by a strip of green, and Scott normally sits at the bottom of that strip of green. And that one strip, it's one row of little tiny shrubs that break here and there, and it divides 2 fields. Scott sits right on that edge at the bottom of this because it's a downslope to where we are, and the turkeys cross right there. At that bottom little spot, there's no shrubs, and they cross between the 2 fields right there. So I keep looking back as I'm calling.
Point, right?
It absolutely is. So I just keep calling. I'm thinking, I don't even care. I'm competing with hens. So I keep looking back, nothing. So as I'm doing this, Dad taps me. Here. Well, I think we got the Thom coming. So I'm looking and I'm trying to figure out where. I'm looking for this big black ball of feathers. And so I stop calling and I'm looking. And I'll be darned if 2 bucks don't start coming. And they're right in front of us. And I mean 5 yards. They walk right to.
That close?
That close.
Oh,
like
unbelievable.
Insane.
I thought they were going to walk up and stick their head right through the trees in it.
Like right there, 5 yards, and I can't move. I want to go live on Facebook, and I can't move. These 2 bucks with the nubs are starting. They weren't real old bucks.
One was a button buck, but the other one had about 4-inch thick nubbins. Like they were thick.
Already?
4 inch.
Yeah, oh yeah. And like
Holy
big balls,
smoke.
like 2 fists. Take your hands, make them fists. They would be on his head. So he wasn't like a massive buck, but I mean he's a buck. 2 fists coming out of his head, and they're come up and staring at us right in the eyeballs. And don't look them in the eyeballs. I'm just close my eyes, and I'm waiting. And so I got my hand on my phone on my lap because I want to go live. And so they finally start to walk sideways to us, and I quickly flip it open, and I went live on Redneck Country Facebook and filmed them. And they come up and start sniffing the Jake or the hen decoy, because that's what I had right close to us. Start sniffing that hen decoy all around it, and the one buck never took his eyes off us, just stood there. And then they went on.
It's such an amazement to me that there is no scent control that anybody does for turkey hunting. It just doesn't happen, obviously, for obvious reasons. Turkeys have no sense of smell, so there's no point having the scent control. But the fact that they were able to come up and sniff you guys, they weren't afraid of you.
No.
They sniffed your decoy. They weren't afraid of you.
Yeah. So why in deer season are they?
Well, that's exactly
right.
Or maybe they are. Maybe my brother's on to something.
Why
here.
am I spending 500 something bucks on an ozonics? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so they did. They came and they hung around for 20 minutes. I mean, I was thinking they're not leaving. They're not blowing. They're not. They started once they went past us, and they were probably out there at 60 yards. Then they started stomping the ground. After they went by the hen and sniffed the crap out of it, all 360 all the way around it. After they went to the Jake and sniffed it and went all the way around it, and then walked on, then they started stomping the ground, but they never did take off. They
That's
just
crazy.
walked away. And
But
so
that to me right there, honestly, it makes the morning.
it was pretty cool having them that like 5 yards. You don't realize how close 5 yards is. Like that's like holy crap. If he kicks us with his hoof, he can reach us. Like there's Mike Tyson close. Standing there staring at us. We could be in some trouble here.
Yeah, that's the fight or flight.
Right? How close is it before they go too close? Attack! But Dad was in front of me, so I had just rolled behind him.
Yeah, I'm sure you could run faster. You could push him down and run.
Right? So and I'd be okay with that. I mean, it was a hunting accident. He went the way he wanted to.
Yeah, you don't have to be the fastest, just the second slowest.
Spoken like a Volkswagen owner. So anyway, they leave. Well, as soon as they're gone, I'm back on the call because, hey, we're turkey hunting, man. Why am I caring about deer? We can't shoot them. It's turkey time. So I'm right back on this like, and I am not stopping it. I mean, I'm just, and I'm throwing everything. and I'm just going and going and going and going. Well, as I'm doing that, all of a sudden I hear behind me, go. That was a turkey, and I turn real slow and look, and Dad, 300 yards away is the edge of that divider strip. About that, I look, and there's a turkey. And I smacked Dad and said, turkey, and look back, and there it is, and it's dark, but it was doing this, and I'm looking, so I start calling again, and I reach down and I throw a gobble down. Well, that thing starts running, and I said to Dad at that time, this is a Thom. It's a Turk. It's a Thom. It's shootable because it's running at our decoys. Hens typically ain't coming at you running like this, and it's black. I mean, it's dark, and so it's on the run, and so it comes right up to the edge of the field. So Dad's on the right side of me, and it's coming to my left, so Dad can't see it, and I've got to lean out because it's right against the edge of the field running along the tree line. And I said to Dad, get your gun up, get ready, it's coming. And so Dad gets his gun up. I said, it's got to be a Jake because it was chirping like a hen. Like a Thom would have and woke you up. But this thing was just never gobbled. It chirped like a hen, and a raspy hen. And so I said, it's a Jake. If you want to shoot, I'm not shooting a Jake, but if you want to shoot a Jake, it's coming. So I'm looking, and so Dad leans over, and he's, now I see it. So now he had to, let me tell you, Bill, before he put his gun up, he had to see it. Don't trust me and put your gun up. Believe you. Right? Don't put your gun up. So, and putting his gun up means barrel's right beside my head.
I'll get my rebuttal here in a minute, Bill. Yeah. He doesn't know what I'm thinking. Everything's got to be thought his way. It drives me nuts.
Because it's the right way. So
I was really hoping he was going to join the other two up top, and I'd have it by myself down there.
Because that would have happened. Then you would have seen this guy come.
Oh, yeah. He would have got to him in my peripheral vision. I'd have seen him.
What? You're fidgeting. He would have seen you.
No.
I was blocking you from your movement. So anyway, when he does put the gun up, it is right by my head. I mean, we're sitting beside each other, and he's got to shoot past me. Like this turkey I am blocking the view of this turkey to see Dad because it's right in line. So now, Dad, you can take over from here.
Exactly. Thank you.
Trust me, I'm not touching this story with a 10-foot pole.
He is sitting to my left, and I can't see past him on the left. But in front of him is nothing but real thick brush and trees. And these trees are 6 and 8 inches right in the middle. And the branches and the brush and the vines are growing around them. I cannot shoot through that straight out. I can shoot to the right of that. I can shoot to the left of it, but I can't shoot through it. I don't figure I could ever pick a spot through that. I can barely see the decoys. The brush is in front of them. So when he says there's one coming, I'm leaning trying to see it. And he says, put the gun up. I don't know. Do I put it in front of him? Do I put it behind him? Because if I put it in front of him, I'm not going to be able to shoot until that bird is right at the Jake decoy and right at the edge of that real thick stuff. So when I see him coming, I realize, no, it's got to be behind him. So I said to him, lean forward, and I push him forward. So he crouches down. Then I lift the gun up and I put it behind him and I got it to my shoulder.
So I pick my phone up and I get Redneck Country Facebook because we're about to go live, and I'm firing that up as fast as I can because this thing's closing the gap. I mean, he's running stops. And you know they do that side shuffle, that side run like they want to come kick its butt, right?
Yeah.
Kind of half puffed and all, I'm big bad, I'm mean. That's what it's doing. So carry on, Dad.
So when he finally comes into my full view, he has got his head down low on the ground. He is kind of hunched shoulders. I don't know, how do you describe it?
Like he was going to whoop butt, man. He was coming in half puffed.
He was motoring and head down. I had no shot. And luckily, he stopped just before he got to the Jake. Probably 10 yards from the Jake?
Yep.
And he stopped to the left of most of these bushes and small saplings and stuff that were out in front of us. And he lifted his head. And I went, perfect. He was within 20 yards, I figure, right? 20.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was close.
He was close. I brought the gun up. I put the gun where the neck joined the body. Ka-wham! And immediately the wings came right out, and I thought, I smoked him. He went straight up in the air.
He jumps in the air a good 8 feet in the air.
And I follow up with my gun, but he's going forward while he's going up, and now he's right in the thick of all the branches, and I can just see a blur of him going through, and he comes down just the other side of the Jake, right behind all this stuff, and I got no second shot, and he's running away. And he's running away, and Todd, he emptied his gun.
I threw my phone down. My gun's leaning against a tree.
So Todd straightened right up.
Because there's no reason for me to have my gun. This thing is 20 yards.
But when I shot, Todd straightened right up, and the bird went up, and I followed him. And now when he come down, Todd has straightened up. He's in front of me. Todd's in front of me. He's reaching for his gun. The brush is in front of me, and all I know is this bird's running away, and he's just a blur. I can't see it through there.
So
I just sat there and waited.
And Dad wants to tag a Jake. He's going to tag a Jake. So I'm fumbling.
Let me go ahead.
Good grief!
Because I made my mind going in, like. I do a lot of hard walking, a lot of hard carrying. It's getting tough for me, and I thought, you know what? If I get a chance at a Jake, I'm going to fill a tag with a Jake because it's meat on the table, and I can beg off, and these guys can go and hunt hard for their big toms, and I don't have to go 3 times a week and every day. I can sleep in a little more because by the time I get home, I am so beat. I have to sleep half the afternoon, or I can't even stay awake for supper.
Which is tough for a retired guy, right? Trying to find time for a nap.
I mean, wait till you're 75, Todd. You'll understand what I'm talking about. So I already made up my mind. This bird was a good sized bird. It was no skinny little Jake. It was a good sized bird.
It had a 4 or 5 inch beard. It was a nice Jake.
Yeah, but it was good size, and he was really dark. And I thought, okay, he's going down. And I shot, and all I know is he went up in the air, come down, he's running away. So Todd,
he's running away. I'm live on Facebook. I'm like, it's running away because I lean straight up so I could film this thing fly up in the air. I figure it's going to hit the ground flopping, and it hits the ground running. Well, now I'm like, I don't even have my gun in my hand. I got a phone in my hand. I dropped my phone, my brand new Samsung S22 Plus, hits the dirt. I reach around, grab my gun. I got a log in front of that, so I got to bring it around. I pull it up through the thick crap. It's now, I don't know how far away, and I just wham, and the dirt lights up behind it. Okay, lead it more. Wham, and the dirt lights up in front of it. And then the third shot, I mean, that's 80 yards, and I just let her rock at it because I thought, I don't care, it's a shell. And I let that go, and I watched him run away.
and I'm sitting there thinking, Todd says, how did you miss? I said, I didn't miss, Todd. I was right on that bird, like at under 15 yards.
It's super
yards,
bird
15.
Because at 20 yards, it's eaten.
I didn't miss, Todd.
5, 6, 7 blended shot, 3.5 inch. Like how? How does that happen?
That bird was almost straight on, neck at body. I had to hit somewhere, body, somewhere, neck, but somewhere. I mean, I didn't miss, Todd.
So let me tell you, he did.
He says, well, yeah, look. And I said, what am I looking at? What, 6 yards in front of us? 6 yards. Here's this 1.5 inch sapling.
He cut in half.
Cut right in half. The sapling came up, and the end of it was
the whole brunt of that pattern. And you know how hard it is to cut a tree in half with a shotgun?
And when you're shooting a super full turkey choke with what
5, 6, 7 blended shot, 3.5 inch. He cut that sapling in half.
It was all splintered coming out of the ground, and then the end was all splintered.
The top half was held up by vines, and the bottom half was still on the ground. So it was just cut right in half.
And the top half was laying off to the side in the vines, and that end of that was all splintered and everything. Just laying in the vines.
I took a picture of it.
So
I did. I'll send it to you.
I didn't become the almost guy. I became Jack, short for lumberjack.
Did you think you thought about that since Saturday, didn't you?
No, I just made that up just for the moment. I do have a mind if you let me work it.
I disagree.
What I took out of that story was a little bit different too. That a good guide would have set you up better.
He picked his spot, not me. He was already there. That's his and Bill's spot. You got to come to my spot.
That's my spot.
That's my spot.
But doggone, I put the gun
now he can shoot that way because he's cleared a little bit of brush out.
Yeah.
That's what it took, I guess.
And then I cleared a little bit more.
And I thought, I did not see that sapling when I put the gun up and I had it on that turkey. I did not see that sapling. I just saw that bird.
And you do, right? Like, it's the same for deer hunting. When you got a sapling like that close in front of you, you're looking past it you're looking at your target.
Yeah.
You're not seeing what's between that and your target. Yep.
You were laser focused on putting that bead right where it needed to go on that bird's head. And
I thought, okay, if I put that bead right where I wanted it, how come I didn't see the sapling and move right or left? I mean, I don't know.
That's true. That's a good point, too. I don't know how you missed it if that's the case.
I have no idea. I just
no
know
comment.
that sapling was at 5-6 yards at the most. And
You know what's great, though, Bill?
What's that?
That we can laugh about it. I mean, you and I don't know if Dad's laughing about it, but you and I can laugh about it.
I sat there dumbfounded, and Todd says, good thing it was a Jake, not a great big Tom. What do you mean, good thing it was a Jake?
Because there's a record bird in that woods. I don't care. Trust me, I've got the 16th largest. It's in the record book. This one that I seen last year is bigger than that, Jack. I'm telling you that there is a giant trophy bird in this bush.
I already made my mind up.
Thank goodness that wasn't it.
I already made my mind up. I'm going to take a Jake, and I mean, it was still disappointing that
you're going to take a bearded hen.
Sapling. No.
Oh no, we won't do a bearded hen.
No. But I made up my mind that I was going to take a Jake if it presents itself. I mean,
I feel like there's a whole lot of gender assumption going on right here.
Yeah. So I was disappointed that I hit the sapling, but I mean, it's better than missing completely or not knowing what happened. But anyway.
Well, yeah, at least you got a good understanding that it wasn't you.
Yeah.
Well,
Pattern's pretty good. Pattern's pretty good at 6 yards.
Yeah. If that bird ever made it to 6 yards, I think you'd have no problems. But
you'd be picking its head up off the ground.
I don't know.
It'd be like a guillotine.
Based on that story there, I'm surprised you let it get that close, Todd.
Well, because it's a Jake. I ain't shooting it. Dad couldn't see it.
I guess that'd be the only reason.
It's got to be that close for Dad to see it.
No.
It's 75 to hear it gobble. It's 25 to see it. That's the yardage grouping when you're hunting with Dad.
No.
A good guide knows his hunter.
No, what happened was it was running along the edge, and it was really thick and deep along the edge, except where I walked in to get behind this stuff. So it had to come out. It ran out from behind that stuff. And if it hadn't stopped when that thick stuff ended and before the thick stuff in front of me started, I wouldn't have had a shot. If it ran right up to the Jake, I wouldn't have had a shot.
So let me tell you though, this is a takeaway from my theory, and I use it for deer hunting too, because you'll sit down in some thicket and think, "Ooh, do I have a shot?" Well, I've only got a shot there, and let me tell you, it's better to be well hidden and have a chance than to be not hidden and don't have a chance.
Yep, I would agree with that too. Pick your spots. Yep. You know, you had
know where you got to stop it.
Oops moment.
Yep.
You didn't see it, but for the most part, you had yourself prepared into a spot where you were concealed. That bird never saw you, so
got him to 25.
Kind of a win.
Got him as close as you needed to get him.
And unfortunately, Mother Nature protected itself in other ways.
Yep.
But I will say, Bill, that there was a lot of movement on my behalf through the morning. So leading up to that, when people think, oh, I don't want to move, I'm going to mess it up. Here's another deal. You know how we always say make it happen, right? Yeah. I'm not afraid to make it happen. Within 45 minutes of first light and those turkeys, what I didn't say was I was on the move. I was checking fields. I was up checking that field. And then Scotty said, hey, we just had a Tom leave us and go the exact opposite direction. And I said to Scott, should I go? He just texted back, yes. I was gone, man. Dad, I'll be back. I grabbed that spot and stock and I headed down. And
he cut right across that open spot where that bird came from and into the bush and up that side hill and over into the next field.
I mean, I was traipsing all through there. I went 3 times.
He came back the same way and had to cross right through that open field and sit down, and that bird still came there.
3 times.
Yeah.
I went through that 3 times.
That's a good note, too, because I did the same. Not to that extent, because I'm hunting by myself. I don't want to leave my stuff too far. But when that bird that I was hunting, those 2 birds did not come in, I got up and moved closer to them. And then I called, and then I went in the opposite direction, and I called again to try to give it the impression that I'm coming.
Oh, right. That you were coming.
I was coming closer, called first, and then I called further away to as like, okay, I made it this far, now I'm leaving.
Yep.
If you want to come any closer, then you got to close the distance. You know?
I've heard of that strategy. You got a buddy, and when one hangs up, that buddy takes off and goes away and keeps calling and walking away like it's leaving. I've heard of that. I've never tried it, but I will say I get nervous doing what you did. So if I've got them gobbling, I don't know really how close they are and how much vision they got. I've been busted more times than I can say trying to get myself closer versus calling them in. Now, if they're going around or walking away, all right, I'm going to try and head them off. I know the bush I hunt well enough that I know where they walk. I know the little ravines and the dips and the rolls that I can try and keep myself hidden. And that's exactly what I do. And I had Scotty, they had those 3 or 4 times and he messaged me. They're going the other way. Every time he did, all right, I'm going to head him off. And I'd fire down to that row, that bush row where I just said that Jake came over, and I'd run up that edge, and then I'd cut over to the bush that Scotty and Michael were sitting in and sitting that finger on a little knoll where I knew I could get to that they wouldn't see me if they were in the woods, and then sat there calling a little bit. Never had nothing come for 20 minutes. All right, go back down and hang out with Dad. Yeah, Scotty would message me again. Another turkey just took off the same way. Another Tom. I'm gone. Out and away I go. And so not a problem. To me, you got to do that to make it happen with turkey hunting, or it's going to get real boring, and you got to keep it fun. It's not deer hunting.
I think so too. And that's a big takeaway for everybody that's listening to. It's not conventional. The turkey hunting, we've said this a lot of times, making it happen doesn't mean sitting there all morning and just calling,
And so many do that, right? Because that's the TV way. You sit there and you call and you call and you call and you hope one comes in, and it works. I mean, you look at the Facebook post and you see those guys are sitting up on roosted birds. And that morning, it just so happened that they came to the call. Other times we talk about it. What makes them go the other way when you're sitting on a roosted bird? No clue, right? Hens pull them the other way. Well, at that, you're sitting there. They just left. So you could sit there all stinking morning and hear gobbles way off, or you can go to the gobbles and try to head them off. But you got to know a bit of the land to make it happen, right? But that's my gig. I'm going to make it happen, man. I'm going to be all over that place. So hunting with people, it makes it easier. Like I got eyes up top. Scotty's like, hey, we're sitting here and one just went that way. All right, you guys sit tight. I'm going around you. And I'm either going to push them back to you or I'm going to call them in.
That's it. And this Saturday morning, I'm that's coming up, I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did last year. Is I'm going to start in the same spot as I did last year, which is the poison ivy patch. I'm going to start over in the same
in the same area. You're going to set up right in the same spot.
Pretty much. It's too early in the season, I think, for poison ivy, or I'm hoping so.
I love it. Yeah. I agree. So, I think it will be, Bill.
Yeah, I'm going to set up in the poison ivy patch because that's where I typically hear birds, but always have been, well, that's not true, except for 1 year. They've always been across the road, so pulling them across the road is next to near impossible from where I am.
Yeah.
But it's a dirt road. But anyways, if it's the same scenario as it was Saturday, I'll pick up. I won't have my decoys on Saturday. I'm not going to take decoys in the woods because I'm going to be on the move. And I'm going to just try to make it happen by going around the bush, calling, seeing if I get some shot gobbles or whatever. If nothing happens first light, or I'm not sitting on birds like the 50-50 chances that I will be, I'm going to make it happen by moving around that bush.
Right on.
So, well, and it's kind of, it's kind of chancy because it's public bush. So I got to be really careful as to what my surroundings are and making sure if there's a little bit of orange on me while I'm moving. You know what I mean?
Extreme hunting. Live on the edge, buddy.
Well, my family's one hunting accident away from paying off the house.
And I'm not sure many people die from shotgun blasts.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's uncomfortable, but I'm not sure many die.
I'm just hoping there's going to be a sapling in front of me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I always call at the base of it. I don't call in the middle of a path. Let's put it that way. I always stand up against a tree before I do make my calls.
No, don't keep moving.
No. But I don't know. Well, you guys going to be able to get out before the weekend hits?
I'm hoping. I'm trying to figure out when, where, how. But today was a write-off. But we'll see.
Yeah, weather wasn't great today. Anyways, to be sitting out in the bush here.
Yeah,
anyways,
true.
Drizzly
but they were out on my way home. I seen them. Well, I had to go in the office today for the first time in a long, long time, and on my way home, I seen them out strutting.
It is a season. They're out no matter what. Yeah, actually, on the way to work this morning, I did see birds. In actually spots I haven't seen birds in a while, so kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well,
maybe, just maybe, my brother will get out this weekend, and maybe next week he'll have a story for us if all hopes are.
Yeah, right on. And you got to come down and join us too.
Hey, you know what? If the gas prices weren't $1.90 something,
dude, you drive a Volkswagen. You may have to leave Wednesday to be here for Saturday, but I'm not sure it'll cost you that much.
Can you smack him, please?
I'm gonna go to whack.
If I thought it would make any difference, I'd let you do that on a more frequent basis. But
hasn't worked in 40-something years now. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, good talking to you, Bill. And I look forward to your messages through the week.
Yeah, I'll message you throughout the week.
Don't forget your water. Yeah, don't forget your water pill.
Don't forget it's Mother's Day this weekend coming up too.
Ooh, is it?
Yes.
Sunday.
That's your advanced redneck country.
I'm glad you said something. I'm glad you said something.
I'm looking out for you, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it. Got to get myself something nice. I mean, my mom and wife. Yeah.
That's it. All right. Take care, gentlemen.
Yeah, have a good Bill.
So long.
And that'll do it for this week, folks. For the Redneck Country Podcast, I'm Bill, the Almost Guy Tom.
And I'm Todd. And thanks for listening. And folks, if you want to be part of the podcast or you want to give us some feedback or really contact us about anything, feel free to email us at podcast@theredneckcountry.com. Again, that's podcast@theredneckcountry.com. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again next week.